Hey guys, welcome to Tone Bros. My name's Casey.
And I'm Colin. We're going to get started with our current topic of the day, which is the Fender Buck Owens Tele.
Buck Owens Tele. They're bringing it back.
I gotta say, this is like one of the coolest Teles. I mean, John 5 had that interview a long time ago with all the Teles. I mean,
his
he's got
room.
a huge collection.
Yeah.
But like, the Buck Owens Tele, that's iconic, man.
Very much so. Very much so. So, I saw it came out. They put out an acoustic and an electric.
Yeah.
The Tele's the one that I'm most interested in most. I think it's $19.99, so $2,000.
Uh-huh.
It's Mexican made.
I didn't know it was Mexican
It
made.
is Mexican made. It's all poly finish.
And it's Mexican made.
And they did put some special Buck Owens Tele pickups in there.
Okay.
You know, it's a maple board. It's
Yeah,
all
it's
their
like
body.
Alnico 2 and 3.
Yeah. It's all
I
their...
don't know if it's Buck Owens like pickups, but it's
Yeah.
definitely classic.
Yeah, they put a thing in there, a little blurb in there I saw the other day that said Buck Owens special pickups.
Okay.
You know, it might just be like a marketing thing. Who knows?
Right.
Or like just a little tweak on something. Mm-hmm. But what's your thoughts on this? Other than it being iconic, what's your thoughts?
Man, it is such a cool guitar.
Yeah.
Like, talk about America. You know what I mean? It makes me want to eat bacon.
Every morning, I wake up and I smoke a cigarette. And then I eat 5 strips of bacon. For lunch, I eat a bacon sandwich. And for a midday snack, bacon, a whole damn plate. I usually drink my dinner.
I don't know if I love that or if I'm like,
No.
oh, it's a little much.
You got to embrace your patriotic nature, man.
Yeah. It'd be good for a 4th of July show.
I tell you what, it's great for election time. They released it right in time, really.
Yeah, I guess they did, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just, Nash has done some kind of copies of the Buck Owens thing. I
Okay.
don't know if you've ever seen Nash do some
No.
of that stuff, which is interesting to me because it's all nitro for sure. Some of it's relict, you know. But Fender doing this, I like it. I think the price is a little
steep. Especially Mexican made and a poly finish.
Yeah.
I would say at least take it to 1,800 max.
I actually don't hate it being a poly finish, even if it was USA made.
I mean, think of the James Burton Tele. That's over $2,000 now, right?
Oh yeah, probably so. I'm not
And
for
and
sure.
that's like poly, and that's, I mean, a classic. I mean, there's 3 pickups. It's a little different, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's around that mark. So it does make sense why it's there, but am I gonna? I mean, it's such a cool guitar.
The James Burton's USA made though.
Well, that's true too.
That does make a little bit of a difference. I really like it. I think it's cool. I do not want to own one.
Man, it is cool though.
But it is cool.
You know who'd love it? Our dad.
Yeah. He would absolutely love it.
He would want one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
It's really cool. I like that they're putting it out. It's kind of a cool little nod to the past.
Yeah.
I don't think it's limited run, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool they're just throwing it out there like that. But, I don't know.
I gotta say, it's a cool signature they're coming out with, like throwing it way back. You know what I mean? I like that they're doing that.
Yeah, Fender's pretty good about being on the forefront of new signature guitars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not too long ago they had that Jack White stuff come out.
Right.
You know, they've had a lot of like newer artists kind of throw signatures out there. It doesn't seem like we've seen an older artist do a signature guitar in a while. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move into my main topic.
Okay.
So my main topic today is, it's kind of a response to a little bit of a Tom Bukovac video I saw a while back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you saw this video that he put out, but he was talking about a gig he played at the Underdog. And he had all this idea of like really expanding and stretching out during this gig and trying some wild and unique things and, you know, not going for a standard, you know, stick that he kind of plays. Which I don't know if Tom's really got a standard stick.
I was about to say, what does that mean for him?
Yeah, he must really be stretching out, right?
Yeah.
So that was his plan. He got out there and he said his nerves kind of got to him, which he's like, you know, I never get nervous. He's like, I didn't know that could even happen anymore, you know? And he said, and then I went out there and he said, I just like was shooting free throws all night. He's like, I just went for standard stuff and kind of like played it safe. So, and then he kind of talked about that, you know, YouTube and all these different places, people are posting people's videos all the time, so people are scared to kind of stretch out. and they play it too safe sometimes.
Right.
So are we playing it too safe in these live gig environments where we're worried about, where before you could kind of play something and maybe somebody had Polaroid pictures of it or whatever, a really bad home video of something. Mm-hmm. Are we playing it too safe at these gigs because we're so worried about, something being posted or somebody being there? It doesn't seem like a lot of people you see live are really stretching and kind of trying something unique. What's your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of factors. I mean, so first of all, you got somebody who, let's say they only know the major minor scale or whatever, or the blues box, and that's just all they know. Obviously, they're going to play it safe because that's all they know, right? Mm-hmm. So, for those people out there that are kind of in that ballpark, I don't think it's fair to put them in that category. But playing it safe, I mean, I'm trying to think. When I play a show, yeah, I play it safe to like fit the song, especially the first. Like usually a song has like, a right after the bridge a solo or something, and then at the very end there's like an outro solo. Well, usually I try to play to the song as much as I can in that bridge, and then the outro, that's when I kind of let loose. So like for me, I hit the solo the first time pretty much on par, and I guess you could say I play it safe, and then at the very end I put my own spin on it. So it kind of fits in the ballpark. It serves the song, but I also get to try whatever I want to. I mean, that's just how I do it. I try to serve the song as much as I can. Does that mean I play it safe? I guess. That being said, for other people, like, I don't know. I think playing it safe depends on what your skill set already is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think some of it depends on skill set, and I think some of it probably is song dependent and gig dependent. I play some gigs where I need to kind of follow the songs a lot, and I need to play pretty much how the songs are wrote.
Right.
But
when you're playing Sweet Child of Mine, you kind of have to hit that solo.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's songs where it's got an iconic line or solo where you feel like you have to hit it. But then on those sections where it's time to stretch and time to do something different, do I really go and try to stretch a lot? Sometimes. I get very in the moment with music and like live performances. I think there's times where I'm really in the moment and I'm feeling like good about my playing. I feel like I've done well the last song or whatever for the earlier portion of the song. And then I feel like I can stretch a little bit more. Like my chops are together. I feel good.
Right.
And then sometimes like I have one flub. I miss one chord or whatever. My timing was off on something or my groove does not feel right tonight. Something's off. My sound is off. My sound can totally affect that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then whenever it comes time to stretch a little bit and I've got that chance for an outro solo or maybe there's an open-ended solo that you can kind of do whatever, then I'm kind of nervous and I'm kind of play stock licks and that feels gross too though. And then it feels like it, kind of potentiates itself where now I'm playing stock licks and I feel like that's what I've got to do. And now I'm even more nervous to like really stretch out because I feel like that's what I got to do. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a gross feeling, really.
Yeah, I think, honestly, my play it safe is not giving space for the notes. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, when I'm playing a solo out, like, I have a hard time slowing myself down and saying, let the song breathe a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say that's where I need to just... That's kind of out of my comfort zone. Because, you keep playing notes... You can go note heavy, and then it doesn't amount to much. So for me to play it safe is playing those notes. I think if I just took my time, that would be actually a good thing to get me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But
do you worry about the YouTube stuff and the people posting?
Not me. I mean, no one's taking videos of me. Let's be honest. Like, we're playing local gigs. No one is gonna be out there, posting it to everybody saying, wow, look at this mess up.
No, they're not going to be doing that. But there is the like local guy that maybe he's posting it for his bar. Maybe there's your friend there that wants to post it. Like that is still, even at a very local level, it is still a thing. Maybe it's not going to get 500,000 views.
I'm just telling you, for me, I don't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's more to the professional. Because, I mean, imagine Brad Paisley. Like, that dude, yeah, he probably does feel that way all the time. But, like...
You think Brad Paisley plays it safe all the time? You think he thinks about it that much? Or
when
you think
hear,
he stretches?
When you hear him in concert, I would say he plays it safe at least 98% of the time.
Yeah.
Because he has to hit a lot of the marks. But then there's a couple parts in the night where he can let loose.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think about playing it safe like at a gig. I'm in there to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't go through my mind, really. So the whole YouTube thing, that doesn't process for me. Maybe one day, but I'm not there.
I think there's something to be said for a guy that stretches and falls on his face.
Yeah.
I kind of think that if something gets posted and somebody's stretching really hard, and like you can tell that he's at the end of his guitar playing, like this is everything he's got. He's played some stuff he's never touched on. He's hearing melodies and trying some stuff he's never done before. And he falls on his face and he gets back up and just keeps going. Like if he's known for really trying to push the limits on guitar, I think that would give you a lot of admiration for a guitar player like that.
Yeah, but if this is just a one-off, like you're talking about a YouTube thing, for us at a local gig, no one's going to know our limits.
No one's going to know that. But I do think for those professionals...
We're going in a rabbit hole here.
We are. But that's kind of, that's kind of the point of the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. But for those professionals that are like going to be on YouTube and they're going to be known all over the place and their stuff is going to get shared. If you play it safe all the time, that's fine. There's those gigs where every note is exactly detailed and that guitar player is going to play it. But
yeah, I'm just saying, like, people like Guthrie Chubb, Tom Bukovac, people that already have a name, it totally makes sense. Go out of your comfort zone. People know who you are. They know the type of stuff you play. That's different. But for us, I don't think it applies.
Yeah. You think an up-and-coming guy needs to play it safe?
Ooh. Like trying to make a name for themselves?
Yeah. Do you think he needs to play it safe until he has a name for himself? Because I think of players like Joe Bonamassa when he was coming up. Like,
I think you can't really... Well, it depends on your style. Think about, was it John Osborne? It's Brothers Osborne guy.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the stuff he plays is out there anyways. Like, he plays some awesome stuff. But is that him technically playing it safe because he's used to playing those licks? I don't know. To me, he doesn't play it safe ever. But maybe if he's practiced it, rehearsed it, it is.
Yeah.
I think unique and playing it safe is very hard to tell the difference.
Think about Phil X. Nothing he ever plays sounds safe. Ever.
No.
But in Bon Jovi, when he plays with Bon Jovi...
He plays it safe.
It's not that he's playing it safe, I don't think. I think he's playing those lead lines because they're iconic.
You have to.
Right? That kind of what we said at the beginning. You have to play those iconic lines. But then when it's time for him to stretch out, he goes on a full tangent. And he definitely goes wild. However, that's kind of his standard. So you don't know what is really stretching for him. We are getting in the weeds with this. That's kind of interesting to talk about, though.
Yeah.
And interesting to think about. I think that it would benefit a lot of us, like local players and like average musicians, to be out there playing, to probably try to stretch out a little bit more every chance we get.
I also do want to say, just to end it, totally depends on your band and if you can play it safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you have a really tight band and you know you can kind of go out of your bounds and it'll be all right, then that's a cool thing, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't have that option.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we need to move into gas or pass.
Yep. So my gas or pass, really, I kind of chose this for you. You've been looking at P90 guitars, and oh goodness, it's probably like 2008, somewhere around there. PRS had this SE1, and it's literally like a Junior, a Les Paul Junior. It's got one P90 in the bridge, although I think it only has one volume knob. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it's just a volume knob, no tone, but it's like a Les Paul Junior. And we've played one a long time ago, and that was a heck of a guitar. I see one right now on Facebook Marketplace for $475.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty cheap for a great guitar.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Is that a gas or pass for you? What do you think?
Man, wow. I gotta say, before I was into P90s, before I was into juniors, any of that stuff, I remember playing that guitar. And just like, I think I picked it up to try and amp out.
Right.
I think it just happened to be there by
It was
the
just
amp.
right next to it. Yep.
I picked it up and played it. And I remember thinking, this guitar is incredible for the price,
For the
and
price,
everything. And they weren't that expensive then. I don't remember how expensive they were at the time when they were brand new coming out. Which, I mean, you got to figure out inflation and all that stuff.
It probably was close to $500.
Probably somewhere in that ballpark. And it's probably the PRS guitar, if I'm honest. It's probably the PRS guitar that I bonded with the most over any PRS I've ever played. Mm-hmm. It was a great guitar. Maybe it was that one I played, because I've only played one of them.
You mean the SE one?
Yeah. Got him.
Got him!
So, it might have been just that one, that SE1 that I played. However, that thing was incredible. For that price, it's a gas. That price, it's a gas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about for you? What's your thoughts on this?
I don't have a P90 guitar right now. It'd be nice to have just a grab-and-go guitar for any gig. I mean, it's a single coil, but it can be heavier sounding. It's a PRS. You know it's going to stay in tune. You know it's going to be reliable. I mean, it's hard not to gas on this one.
Right?
Like I said, for $475, I mean, that's here locally. Who knows what they're out there on Reverb, price $600.
Yeah, 6 or 7, it's still a gas for me.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
You put a Lawler pickup in there if you don't like the pickup, and there you go. You got an awesome Junior.
I would love to play that guitar again.
Yep.
I would love to play that again. So is it a gas for you too then?
It's a gas, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's move into my gas or pass then. So this gas or pass, we're moving back to the vintage market.
Okay.
So we are going to move into the Boss CE2.
Okay.
I saw one the other day selling for like 180, 185 bucks on Reverb. I think that's kind of the going price for them.
Okay.
So it's the old 2-knob chorus pedal that Boss makes.
Right.
Everyone talks about those things, even whenever they're kind of like the CE1. Not in the same way that the CE1 preamp works, but the CE2, even if you turn the rate and depth basically off and just leave the pedal on, people are like, the thing that this pedal does to my sound is pretty awesome. And then you turn them up, and the chorus is great also. That's a whole thing too. There's a bunch of pedals that are based on the CE2. So, what's your thoughts on this? Is this any type of gas for you?
All right, so I didn't know about the whole even turning it down. It does something.
JD Simo was recently talking about that, and he bought a vintage one.
It has nothing to do with just the buffer.
I mean, the buffer would be on whenever it's, not activated. And they're talking about turning it on and turning it all down. Huh. So I'm assuming no.
I don't know. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess it would kind of serve as like an Echoplex preamp, right?
Kind of. I don't know how much of a preamp it is. I have not played it this way, not checked it out. I just heard about it and was like, well, if it does that and it's got a great chorus sound.
So it might not even be a preamp. Everyone talks about Boss Tone Suck.
Yeah.
And like maybe that is just a sound in its own.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's take a look at Joe Walsh's pedal board that's like, in the past there was like 10 Boss pedals.
Right.
He still sounds pretty good.
I mean, if he can make it work, anybody can. No, I didn't know about the whole turning it down. Now, I mean, it's a great sounding chorus pedal. Do I use chorus much? No. So, for me, just because I don't care about chorus, I can get an EP booster if there's a whole preamp thing. Hopefully that does the trick. It's a pass for me. But, I mean, it's a cool idea. I'd like to hear it with everything down. Like, I haven't even kind of heard about that.
Yeah, I've recently heard about that. I'd like to check it out. And for 180, 185 bucks, I feel like that's what those pedals, especially for a vintage one, that's probably worth it.
So is this vintage from like the 90s?
No, this is vintage from like late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
So actual vintage.
Yeah, Japanese made, the whole nine.
You're right.
So for me, I don't use a ton of modulation. And I'm kind of like, on my big board, I like to have a modulation pedal that's kind of a do-it-all. But I do kind of like the idea of having one modulation pedal for a small board if I need to. Mm-hmm. And a chorus kind of fits a lot. A chorus kind of works for a lot of songs, for like a slow chorus, and if you speed it up real fast,
Get
you
a
can kind of
rotary.
get that. Yeah, you can kind of get that rotary thing like Mike Landau's done for years. Mm-hmm. And then if also you turn this thing down, it's adding something to your tone all at the same time. Maybe it's kind of like a 3-in-1 type thing. So for me, it's actually kind of a gas.
Do you think it would end up on your board?
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible.
Big or small board, you said?
Yeah, it would probably go to my small board.
Really?
Yeah, probably go to my small board.
Huh.
Or maybe I need to get a medium-sized board.
The answer's always more.
I need another board. I need to get another board for playing live.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts with it. So it's a pass for you, though.
It's a pass.
Okay. Well, you can't fault me for trying.
Yep. So we're going to move on to our last main topic. All right. This is one that I would like to label. Get down with the Pickness.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right.
God, what was that? That's not good.
Getting down with the Pickness.
Because I think we both had a journey with picks. And this is, for those of you that aren't buying into this, it's like, why are you talking about picks for this episode? Try it with an acoustic. It might change your mind.
Yeah.
Try it with an electric, especially with small, flimsy picks to real thick ones to really stubby ones to, whatever the case may be. It does make you play different.
Yep.
Whether you want to admit it or not, picks make you play different, and it does sound way different on acoustic.
Yeah. It sounds different on electric, but you notice it most on an acoustic. It translates to an electric, without a doubt.
All right, so I'm going to tell you 2 points I want to make so you can keep me on track.
Yep.
First thing I want to talk about is the different style of picks and how they change your sound.
Okay.
And the second thing is I want to talk about my journey of picks.
Okay.
All right, so can you keep me on track
I
here?
will try. That's a lot.
Okay, so I just want to start with, we talked about an acoustic, so try this at home if you haven't. Who's the acoustic player? Help me.
Brian Sutton?
Brian Sutton. That has, thousands of picks in the studio.
I think most of those acoustic players are doing that, but yeah.
So anyways, he's, after watching the homeschooling show and seeing that he had thousands of different styles of picks, I was like, okay, I need to give this a shot. So anyways, having a flimsy pick for an acoustic, it really does something to your chords.
Yep.
It adds such depth and, I don't know about warmth, but it just, depending on the pick, I guess, because the different materials really affect it too. Do you have Ultex? Do you have, that tortoiseshell?
Yep.
Do you have, there's a clear one too, I can't even think.
Yeah, there's acrylic picks,
Nylon,
there's all kinds
whatever.
of stuff, yeah.
So there's different, types. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember that pick maker we used to have?
Yep.
It looked like
It's like
a cutout thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a stapler type thing.
So you could get a credit card and cut it out and try different materials. Those are terrible. Don't try that.
Don't try
Yeah, that's a waste of money. But picks make a huge change, not just in the texture to it and what it's made out of, but like I said, the size makes a huge difference. So, you're thinking about a really small pick. For me, I can get lead lines done a little smoother, like a Jazz 3. Okay? For a bigger pick, typically it makes me want to strum a bit more. It makes me even sometimes get a little more funkier because you can kind of stretch across the strings a little easier. I don't know. What are your thoughts on, I guess, the impact of, the texture on it, what it's made out of? How does it affect your playing?
I guess in the very beginning I was playing medium picks because, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
I moved into heavy picks. And then I stuck with heavy picks for a long time. And I went from everything from 1.0s to 1.5s, and I think I even hit a 2.0 at one time, which is crazy thick, right? But I find that definitely the lighter picks, I'm able to strum chords, and it just gives you kind of a wispy sound with them a lot, which is great. I like the mediums right now is what I'm using most for electrics. Whenever I play those on acoustic, it's kind of a best of both worlds scenario for the most part. A lot of these bluegrass guys are playing these blue chips, which are they're expensive picks, right? They're like $40 a pick or something.
You lose that in acoustic.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that thing.
Yeah.
But they go into those much thicker picks, and man, the sounds they get are just incredible. I think probably so. Where you play on the pick is a huge difference too, right?
That's true.
The point versus like the shoulder of it, and then some guys use those triangle picks. I think all that stuff changes too. Yeah, and then you've got textured picks, which is a whole nother thing to get into too, right? So
What's the
I think that's
the
got a
Joe
texture.
Walsh trick? You know, the Hercos.
Yeah,
It's nylon. Rumor has it that he played on the grip side.
Yep.
And that's how he got his scratchy sound.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
There's so many things to play with. I think that the best service you can do for your acoustic especially is to go, obviously try different strings, but one of the biggest things you can do is just buy a variety pick pack. Dunlop makes them, a bunch of people make them, where you get a ton of different picks. Just try them all out and give them like a fair shot, because when you change from one thickness to another or one shape to another, it really feels awkward for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's really awkward.
Yeah, it is.
But if it's a huge, huge mover in it. So now you were going to talk about your pick journey, kind of.
So, okay, the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think it'll give you a better idea of why I think it's so important to change out your picks and try some other stuff out. So when I first started, I played your guitars and whatever you had around, right?
Right.
So I played a lot of the Tortex when I was first starting out, and that's what our dad plays. So there was always some type of Tortex around. So that's what I started out with. And then there was this, I don't know if it was an ad or I think it was an article in one of the guitar magazines we had.
Yep.
And it was a picture of Eric Johnson. It said, "Try this magical pick," or something like that. And it was a tiny Jazz 3.
Yep.
So,
It'll make you play just like Eric Johnson.
well, it didn't do that. But what I will say is really helped me go from string to string alternate picking.
yeah.
So I was able to move the pick off the string a little easier, go to the next string. And that really gave me a lot of dexterity in my playing. A Jazz 3. Now, that being said, I didn't have the strumming capability. So I kind of started out with Stevie Ray Vaughan and I had the Tortex, and it did great for really digging in. And then I tried those Jazz 3s, and I really got into like some legato, some articulate type of playing, like Eric Johnson. And it made me play completely differently too. You know, it's almost like changing a guitar sometimes.
Yep.
You know, it inspires you in a different way. And then I got kind of tired of that, and I wanted to dig in a bit more, but I didn't want the Dunlop sound, so I kind of tried Ultex. And the bigger one, but it had the same material as the Jazz 3 for the most part.
Yeah.
And that was a good medium, but then it was almost too thick. So then eventually I went back to the Dunlop Tortex and, trying the shoulder. I also tried to change how I held the pick and actually play it more towards the tip of it. So it was a little stronger there, or I could let loose and it could be kind of, that dig-in sound. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the picks actually have had almost just as much of an impact on my playing as a different guitar.
Yeah. Let me talk about one other thing here too. So this is gonna be really hard to see here. So I'll give you that. But something I noticed in the last year to 2 years that I've really been concentrating on, and this is gonna sound a little out there and a little crazy.
Yeah, it will.
So
It's coming from you.
yeah, that's right. So I've been playing with the shoulder on my pick lately, for the most part. That's my standard. I move it around in my hand. I change where I'm playing depending on what I'm looking for sound-wise.
Sure.
But my standard, hey, we're going to play this song. Let's get ready. That's what I go to, right? Go to play with my shoulder and my pick. I realized a year ago, whenever I was really concentrating on maybe trying this shoulder and trying different things with my pick and trying some different picks out, because I felt like it was time to take another look. Because that's something we do pretty often, is reassess where we're at and take a new look at where we're at. I realized when doing this, my pick was wearing really funny. It's why is my pick always worn funny like this? Even when I was using the tip. I realized whenever I was striking the string, I was kind of hitting it at an angle. So I was really hitting it not flat on with the string, but I was kind of picking at an angle. I switched how I held my hand and stuff with my pick and started trying to hit it more flat. Talk about a change. Like, my tone was so much different because you're getting all this surface material of the pick hitting square onto the string.
Right.
Versus at an angle where you're just kind of catching the edge and kind of scraping off of it. Not that one's better, not that one's worse.
Just different sounds.
But it is completely different. And for me, it really improved what I wanted my guitar to sound like. Just how flat and square onto the string I'm playing versus really angled. That's a whole nother thing to get into and to play into. But yeah, I would check that stuff out too.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to add into this?
That's pretty much it. I mean, we covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
It just had a big impact on me, so if I can help somebody else out there.
I think that's where we come in best. Is we've had enough experience playing guitar at this point, not at maybe a professional level, but a local level, and we've been playing for a pretty significant time at this point, where we've made enough mistakes that hopefully you guys can learn from our mistakes and move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, we will see you guys next week.
See ya.